Wasn't until the man saw the security footage of the scheming woman's son pushing another child that he finally realized just how cruel and manipulative she and her son truly were. Before he could even process what he'd seen, the furious parent of the pushed child stormed out of the security room. Panicked, the man rushed after him, desperately trying to apologize. The client was one of the company's biggest accounts, and if he refused to forgive, the man's entire business could collapse. Seeing how sincerely the man apologized, offering to give up the profit from their partnership just to make things right, the client finally calmed down. Before leaving, he gave the man one last piece of advice. A good wife can make or break a business. Choose wisely. Those words hit the man hard. If his wife had been here today, she would have handled things perfectly. In fact, this whole mess might not have even happened in the first place. But the scheming woman and her son were still upset. They sneered at the client, mocking him for having no class. The man looked at them in disbelief. Then it hit him. He remembered a similar incident from before, when the scheming woman's son had accused his own son of the same thing. And now he realized the kid had used the exact same words both times. That was no coincidence. It had been a setup. The man turned to the boy and asked sharply, "Did you lie back then too?" Panicked, the woman rushed over and pulled them apart. Instead of answering the question, she deflected, blaming the man for never letting his biological son call him dad. She snapped that if he had, she and her son wouldn't have had to take over the role. Right in front of him, she even began insulting his real son. The boy looked up at the man with teary eyes, begging for forgiveness. "That man didn't even say anything to me. Please don't be mad." The man couldn't take it anymore. He turned to leave. But the spoiled boy wasn't done. He threw a tantrum, demanding the man take him shopping for new toys. All the other kids' dads buy them toys, he whined. The man's patience finally snapped. The comparison, the entitlement, it disgusted him. He yanked his hand away from the boy and said coldly, "Don't ever call me dad again." And with that, he walked away without looking back. Once his anger cooled, guilt started to creep in. He realized how long it had been since he last reached out to his wife and son. He pulled out his phone to send his son a message, just a simple check-in. But to his surprise, he was already blocked. Still unwilling to reflect on his own actions, he immediately assumed it was his wife's doing. She must have told their son to cut him off. He called his assistant and asked if his wife or son had come by the office recently. But the assistant reminded him, he was the one who had banned them from visiting. That's when it all came rushing back. Every time something went wrong at work, he'd taken it out on them. Worst of all, he had pushed them aside for a manipulative woman and her selfish child. Overwhelmed by guilt, he decided to make amends. He picked out a toy at the mall, assuming that a small gesture would be enough, that his son would come running back the moment he saw it. He waited outside his son's school, hopeful. But as the afternoon dragged on, one by one, all the kids were picked up except his son. He never showed up. Eventually, a teacher came outside and asked who he was waiting for. "My son," he said. The teacher looked confused. "Your son? He transferred to another school a while ago." The man froze. The teacher frowned. "Are you even his father? You didn't know he transferred?" Panic rising in his chest, the man rushed home, calling out for his wife and son. But the house was empty, silent. The only thing left behind was the shattered remains of a gift one his son had smashed in anger long ago.